there, and welcome to your school news for the week of Monday, November 2nd to November the 8th. I'm Brandon Shope. In the headlines this week, we've got the Board of Education meeting notes for the month of November. 12 beginning teachers have been nominated for the NHCS Rookie of the Year Award, and the local community donates important supplies to Carolina Beach Elementary. Our top story this week, the New Hanover County Board of Education held their monthly regular meeting on Tuesday, November the 10th at the Board of Education Center. It was a long one, with a lot of information and some good reports. With the board notes is YSN reporter Peter Pink.
The November Board of Education meeting was a long one, focused on how Plan B is going and what we've learned so far. Recognition of achievement was moved to the November interim meeting in order to save time and be able to give more attention to the achievers. Under information, they gave an update on COVID-19 in New Hanover County schools and the 2020-21 school opening. Other news and information, the ABC Science Collaborative, virtual school presentations, NHCS first quarter student failure data, and accountability data dig for students with disability. Also quarterly budget summary for the period ending 9/30/2020, facilities naming update, Board of Education interim meetings, and policies for first reading. Under Head Start Board Liaison Nelson Bollier presented the monthly reporting of enrollment and ongoing oversight data, program updates, health and safety and financial reports to the Board of Education as mandated by the Head Start program performance standards. Then under committee reports, they discussed the Equity, Diversity and Inclusion Committee, Family Communications Committee, and the Title IX Committee. Then under consensus items, one personnel report was given by Superintendent Dr. Charles Faust relating to the reporting of all recent and upcoming hires, transfers, retirements, and resignations of current personnel and applicants. For old business, they talked about and approved changes to 17 policies and discussed the renaming of Parsley Elementary School. Ultimately, the school was unanimously voted on by all 7 board members to rename the school to Masonboro Elementary School. Masonboro Elementary was the name of the majority of the public selected in an online poll. There were several items to discuss under new business. First, the board talked about policy waivers, where they voted to lower the number of required credit hours for high school students needed in order to graduate from 28 to 22 and made it easier for students to make a credit recovery if they do not have enough credits to graduate. The board also discussed the disposal of surplus property, which was passed. The school will now at some point hold an auction and sell off a chunk of their surplus items that they currently own. In addition to these two topics, the board discussed budget amendments and various contracts and memorandum of understandings with other institutions. The next regular Board of Education meeting will be Tuesday, December 8th at 5:30 p.m. at the Board of Education Center, 1805 South 13th Street. There is also an interim board meeting on November 24th at 10 a.m. Members of the public are welcome to attend, but in-person attendance will be strictly limited to no more than 25 audience members in accordance with CDC's safe social distancing guidelines. As always, if you cannot attend the meeting in person, you can watch the rebroadcast here on NHCS TV, Spectrum, Channel Cable 5. And that's all your board notes for November.
The Rookie of the Year program was created as a partnership between New Hanover County Schools and the Wilmington Downtown Rotary Club. The goal of the program is to recognize excellence among educators within their first 3 years of teaching. School principals nominate teachers who then must submit a paper about recruiting and retaining new teachers. A committee of Rotary Club members, NHCS employees, and a UNCW representative score the essays to identify the top 5 candidates. Those candidates are then interviewed by a committee of 7 partnership members. 12 nominees were recently selected for this year's award. They are as follows. From Carolina Beach Elementary, Abby Emerson. From Anderson Elementary, Morgan Montgomery. From Ashley High, Fatima Sale. From Holly Shelter Middle, Hannah Whitlow. From Williams Elementary, Alexandra Caldwell. From Laney High, Ellie Stewart. From Ogden Elementary, Jacqueline Michael. From C-Tech High, Michelle Whitaker. From Trask Middle, Erica Biggs. From Williston Middle, Shelby Cook. From Wilmington Early College High, Amanda Sharp Royals. And from Wrightsboro Elementary, Kayla Trevethan. From the 12 nominees, 5 finalists will be selected in February. The committee will surprise them with a publisher clearinghouse style announcement. One of these finalists will also be named the NHCS Rookie of the Year. They will all be recognized at the March Board of Education meeting. Congratulations to these 12 teachers on their nomination and for all the work they do with students every single day. New Hanover County Schools, through its partnership with the NC Department of Health and Human Services Division of Vocational Rehabilitation, is innovating approaches to identifying, recruiting, and retaining employees with disabilities by implementing the Inclusive Hiring Initiative. Given the natural talent pool within the district's special education programs, a pilot internship program was developed to give students with varying disabilities the chance to gain real workforce experience and feel valued. Upon graduation from the program in school, those students are offered part-time and full-time jobs within the school district. The partnership has extended employment opportunities to persons with disabilities throughout the county, giving them direct access to NHCS hiring opportunities. The North Carolina Rehabilitation Association recognized NHCS as Employer of the Year in 2019 for the district's commitment to hiring persons with disabilities. The work continues and serves as a model for other school districts and private businesses throughout the state. Carolina Beach Elementary has some amazing new gadgets thanks to the Pleasure Island community stepping up to help them out. YSN reporter Jason Dergala explains to us just how much this means to the school and the impact it'll have.
Recently over at Carolina Beach Elementary, the school received over $4,000 for remote learning assistance for the school's students, as well as for helping their families during the holiday season. The donations were all made possible, in part, through a fundraiser organized by a former student of the school. Carolina Beach alumni Blaine Mays donated a handmade farmhouse swing to be raffled off, and the proceeds went to the school. In addition to the fundraiser, Carolina Beach also received donations for remote learning assistance programs from other organizations, as the school's principal explains.
What really has come out of this through the donation with the swing and that fundraiser, as well as other community donations. We have had donations from the Pleasure Island disaster relief, from several churches on the island.
And a $1,000 anonymous donation.
Along with the money received at Carolina Beach for student online learning assistance, community organizations also chipped in to help the school. From more whiteboard tables to Recordex touchboards to a new paint job for the media center, organizations like Life Point Church, Island Men, and Island Women were all instrumental in the Carolina Beach receiving new school resources. Finally, the school's librarian, Miss Bazemore, was among the staff members who were the most surprised by the community's generosity.
So it felt incredible to know that we were going to be able to make my vision and my dream a reality, and especially so quickly due to the generous donations of our community. And what it has done for the children has just been exceptional. I had a vision. I didn't expect for it to be able to happen so quickly, so that has been incredibly fulfilling and rewarding for both myself, but especially for the children too, to be able to come into this new space, after a pretty crazy, end to the school year and a pretty crazy beginning to the school year as well. To be able to come and enjoy this incredible new space has been very exciting for all of us.
Overall, staff and students alike were thankful for the donations they received from every part of the Carolina Beach community. This story highlights how much our local communities and organizations are devoted to give back, even in this most extraordinary time. Reporting for your school news, this is Jason Dergala.
Awkward. I'm the awkward silence. You try to avoid me, then there I am again.
But an awkward silence can be a great thing.
Like Kelly here is about to demonstrate.
You haven't really been yourself lately. Are you okay?
Find out how you can help a friend with their mental health at seizetheawkward.org.
This is your school news on cable and online. Look for our blue logo for all the latest news online right now at nhcs.net. Welcome back to your school news. I'm Brandon Shope. It's time now for our Education Index, a look around the nation and the world at some of the top stories in education. Topping the index, colleges and universities are under fire because more than $6.5 billion in funding from foreign countries, including China, Russia, Saudi Arabia, and the United Arab Emirates and Qatar, was not reported. New federal report shows the Senate Permanent Subcommittee on Investigations has raised concerns about the potential strings attached with this foreign aid. Threat of improper foreign influence in higher education is real, Education Secretary Betsy DeVos said, describing a scenario in which department officials are playing catch-up on 4 decades of noncompliance by colleges and universities. The Education Department established an online portal in June to make it easier for schools to report foreign gifts and contracts valued at more than $250,000. The portal has recorded more than 7,000 transactions totaling roughly $3.8 billion in the 4 months since it's been available. The presidential election is finally over after what seemed like weeks of waiting. Joe Biden is the 46th president-elect of the United States, and the change in presidency will also affect education. As President Joe Biden says, he'll provide educators the support and respect they need and deserve and invest in all children from birth. He continues that regardless of their zip code, parents' income, race, or disability, children will be prepared to succeed in tomorrow's economy. As an interesting note, Biden's wife, Jill Biden, has worked as an educator for more than 30 years. In 2018, public school teachers made 21.4% less than workers with similar education experience. As president, according to his website, Biden will triple funding for Title I, the federal program funding schools with a high percentage of students from low-income families. He will require districts to use these funds to offer educators competitive salaries and make other critical investments prior to directing the funds to other purposes. And finally, in Bosnia and Croatia, they are trying to go greener. Chimney towers above a primary school in northeastern Bosnia is a relic of the era when coal, a heavy pollutant, was the main source of energy in the region. Previously, the school alone consumed 120 tons of coal per year. Now the school is one of the leading examples of the Smart Schools project, a cross-border scheme supported by the European Union's cohesion policy, which aims to reduce pollution and promote renewable energies. Mr. Udovan, who is the energy manager for the project, is in charge of a new heating system there based on wood pellets salvaged from biomass, said by replacing the energy fuel type, we have reduced the pollution and created better conditions in class for the children. The school's headmaster of a nearby Croatian town has also been trying to go green. He wants to make changes now that will brighten the future. And that's this week's Education Index, a quick look at some of the interesting education stories from around the nation and the world. And don't go away, we'll be right back. Your school news continues right now on cable and online. Look for our blue logo for all the latest news online at nhcs.net.
Hey Kevin, you thinking about retirement?
I'd love to, but I'm pretty busy with all this.
Yeah. Hey, let's meet our retirement coach, Avo. A is for taking action.
Not anxiety?
No, Kevin, you're gonna be fine.
You sing?
Barely. V is for variety.
And you dance?
Sort of. Come on. O is for optimize your savings.
Let Avo lead the way.
Visit aceyourretirement.org today.
Nice.
Thanks.
The Dog's Way Home is the story of the extraordinary lengths a dog will go to in order to get back to their family. Every year, millions of dogs and cats end up in shelters and rescue groups. We found our Bella at a shelter in Tennessee. When you adopt a shelter pet, you discover they're all pure love. Adopt pure love and help a shelter pet find their way home at theshelterpetproject.org.
Welcome back to your school news. I'm Brandon Shope. There's a lot going on Twitter these days, and with our NHCS chat hashtag, you can join the conversation. Right now it's time for our What's Tweeting segment, all the latest NHCS news and photos that are creating a buzz on Twitter. To start off this week's tweets, we look at Bellamy Elementary, where students participated in a month-long donation project. First graders at the school spent last month contributing in what they dubbed Socktober. Over the course of the month, the students collected whatever socks they could find to be donated at the end of the month to the Good Shepherd Center. By the time the socks were donated, the students had amassed 487 pairs of socks. Great job, Bellamy Eagles. Our next tweet features an NHCS department supervisor who visited kindergartners over at Blair Elementary. Jennifer Buherd, the school district's multi-tiered system of support supervisor, visited the students to check on their adjustment to partial virtual learning. Specifically, she asked how they feel about their curriculum videos that makes for them to view on virtual days. Overall, the students have been working hard on learning their curriculum virtually and in person. Keep up the great work there, Ms. Buherd. Next, we head out to Winter Park Elementary, where a teacher was recently recognized for her commitment to her students. Jacqueline DeLacio, Winter Park's EC Department Chair, was highlighted as Educator of the Month by the Advisory Council for Exceptional Children. Ms. DeLacio's drive and determination to give her students the best educational experience helped get her recognized. Thank you for all you do, Ms. DeLacio. Turning now, we look at Myrtle Grove Medal. Students there are participating in a CTE-based experiment. Eric Ludwig's vocational technology class at the school studied tension, torsion, and gravity with the help of popsicle sticks, rubber bands, and bouncy balls. This type of activity is a part of career technical education that prepares students for solving problems after they graduate. The school's experiment was also retweeted by NHCS's CTE department. Awesome experiments, Mr. Ludwig. In honor of Veterans Day on November 11th, the Child Nutrition Department tweeted how very proud they are of those who served. Two of their office staff, Billy Neese and Brent Phelps, are veterans. NHCS is proud of all of our faculty and staff that have served our country. Thank you so much, veterans, for all that you do. Finally, over at Noble Middle School, a parent in business recently donated supplies to the school. Noble parent Dawn McLean and the Charlotte Walmart contributed boxes of brand new school supplies. Soon after the donation, the school announced that they will be sharing those supplies across the district with other schools. Thank you so much, Noble. We appreciate you as well as Ms. McLean and Walmart. This is your school news on cable and online. Look for our blue logo for all the latest news online right now at nhcs.net. Also, make sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. And for the latest weather conditions, keep it right here for your exclusive Weather Plus forecast that's on the screen when you need it.
If you love them enough to relearn math so you can teach them math, then surely you'll check nhtsa.gov/the right seat to make sure they're correctly buckled in the back seat.
Welcome back to your school news. I'm Brandon Shope. Holly Tree Elementary School has a new principal this school year. Stephen Moore sat down and talked to us about being new to Holly Tree and new to our county. He also tells us what it's like to be a principal during a global pandemic. Here's our special feature.
Hi, I'm Steve Moore, and I am the principal at Holly Tree Elementary School in Wilmington. I got started in education as a career because of my mother. I grew up on a tobacco farm in Johnston County, and my mother never had an opportunity to go to college. And she worked in her later years as a teacher assistant for over 20 years at Four Oaks Elementary, which strangely enough was the home of the Cardinals in Johnston County. And so her passion of working with kids, I was the kid that stayed after school, kind of hung around with the other staff kids. And I saw what a change made in the lives of kids, not just because of what they learned, but the relationships. And because of her, I went to UNCW, had a degree, gained a degree in elementary education, and started my career teaching down in Brunswick County at Bolivia Elementary. And it was almost like just this magical dream that I had an opportunity to come back to Holly Tree, home of the Cardinals, where I started as a student in 4 Oaks as the Cardinals. And strangely enough, Lori Holliday, who was the previous principal, and myself taught together at Gregory Elementary under the leadership of Mr. Shields back in the early 90s. And to me, there were so many signs there, and the doors opened, and here I am. So the inspiration to be a principal or to be a leader is in reflection over the years and seeing, doing various professional learning opportunities. I love to bring people together. That's my passion. And I feel like with children, I've done that and continue to do that as a principal. But I get to layer in that, I call it the little people and the big people. And you can kind of layer that together and watch those relationships form. And to help teachers keep at the forefront that everything they do, not just the content and the core academic work that we do, but the relationships that we establish and the high expectations that we set, propel children to move forward. 12 circles and 2 boxes? And what are you doing?
In 4 words. We do not know yet.
Oh.
That's right, Finn. Good job.
So as a principal, I get the best of both worlds. You get to work with children, you get to work with the adults, and it's kind of like putting the puzzle together. And I love being in the school setting and working alongside others to build that capacity to lead. Since Ms. Dillon, you taught how many days last week?
3.
3. In what grade?
In 4th grade and in 1st grade.
And that's the team player attitude. She also was the screener in the morning. She was also the carpool, car rider dismissal, lunch delivery. And then, because I would pass you doing screenings in the morning, and then I had to teach a couple of PE classes like for a few minutes, and then I know that then on Wednesday, Ms. Downing and I were in lots of meetings because we had IEP meetings, we had other meetings that were going on for our tier plans. All the stuff is still happening with face-to-face and remote, and look at the smiles on their face. You can see it in their eyes. So thank y'all for everything. The biggest learning for me during this transition from one school district, being the principal in New Hanover, has taught me that no matter where you go, the passion, if you have a passion for children and learning, and not only for children, but for us as adult learners, if that's present, that's public education. So as I reflect on it, we're here to provide an appropriate public education for every child. So regardless of the narrative of what you walk in the door with, what experiences you've had, this is the great equalizer. This is a place where we can provide or strive to provide an equitable playing field for everyone. And that comes with a lot of challenges. But I see those again as opportunities.
Flipped classrooms are here to stay, well, at least for now during Plan B. What exactly does flipped classroom mean? I went over to Sunset Park Elementary this week to find out. Here's that feature report.
We are in school front loading all of that material. So once they come to school, they actually get to have their hands on those books, and they get to dive in and become reading detectives and really explore and find exactly what we've talked about as I'm teaching the content to them at home. 2 thumbs up and a wiggle. Yeah, okay. Guys, I'm counting on it. I saw a wiggle. That made me happy.
Flipped learning to me is that you're providing instruction for the students that are remote and also in your classroom, and ensuring that they're both getting, equal access to what you're teaching in the classroom, even if they're remote. So you're either preloading your assignments and kind of engaging them in their background knowledge and making sure that they are ready for the next step or the next content that you produce. And that way, when they do come back to school, either on a different day or on their day that they're assigned, they're ready for in-person instruction.
Transitioning to the online thing was challenging, but they were able to do it, and the veteran teachers who weren't, very familiar with technology are very familiar with it right now and very successful at it. So, but it wasn't without hard work and dedication that was able to happen.
So we might be providing more support to them after hours, to our remote learners after hours. And then while we're here, of course, we're not as hands-on as we used to be. And that's hard because we are a school of hugging teachers. We hug our kids, we love our kids. So we are having to learn alternative ways to make those connections and build those relationships, but we're doing it. I think the bottom line of it is when my kids come in the morning, they smile. And that's when I know that it's going to be a great day, and that's when I know that they're going to be successful because they want to be here. Even the ones who are at home want to be here, but we're making it work so that they feel successful either way.
Another amazing success story. Thank you to all NHCS teachers who are making it work during this pandemic. Well, that's all we have for today's show. Keep it tuned right here each week for all the latest from New Hanover County Schools, and be sure to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter and Instagram as well. I'm Brandon Shope. Thanks so much for watching.